Hi, everyone. Welcome, and thanks for joining us for Stars of Franchising.
Get ready for a roller coaster ride through the world of franchising as we bring you the best stories of inspiration and entrepreneurial grit and turning dreams into franchise realities.
That's right, Vinny. From emerging to global brands, we'll chat with the genius minds behind the magic. All brought to you by the Tariq Farid Franchise Institute at Babson College. I'm Ab.
And I'm Vinny. Now, buckle up for some serious inspiration.
In this episode of Stars of Franchising, we sit down with Mateo and Tadeo Acosta-Rubio, the next generation entrepreneurs behind the global franchise powerhouse Churromania. Welcome home to Babson, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having us back. It's nice to be back.
Now, Ab, this is the dynamic duo. So,
for sure.
Exactly.
Sure. And as the sons of Churromania's founders, Mateo and Tadeo grew up immersed in the world of franchising, from literally frying churros to in-store to now driving brand growth, marketing, and franchise development. Mateo's still at Babson and Tadeo's a recent grad. And, but their story doesn't stop there. These Venezuelan-American brothers are carving their own path, launching award-winning tech startups like Stuvie and Clave, an AI-powered platform built to help restaurant operators unlock real-time insights. Can't wait to hear about that. And we dive deep into legacy, innovation, family business dynamics, and what the future of franchising looks like through the lens of two rising stars. Yes, you're right, Vinny. Dynamic duo, redefining what it means to run a franchise in today's world. So I'm going to kick it over to you, Vinny. Really excited to have you both in studio, and look forward to a wonderful conversation.
Well, this is great. Thank you, Ab. Again, welcome Mateo and Tadeo to this conversation. I'm a big fan of churros.
Oh, really?
Because when I lived in Barcelona, one of the first shock for me when I first living there was, what's churro con chocolate?
Sí, claro.
So, and then, so that was, my memories of Barcelona is always connected to that churros.
Oh,
and
delicious.
I loved it, and I still do. I'm a bit mad now because Costco used to carry churros, and I get for my
they
kids.
had the dollar churros.
And they don't carry it again.
Really? We'll bring it back.
For a long time. So hopefully
We'll bring it back.
You make my day, you
Soon
make my
we'll be in
years,
Costco.
and then get churros back.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
You can count on us now.
Oh, that's super. So welcome. So how about we starting the conversation by just having you tell us your why. Why do you do what you do?
Oh, that's a good question, and that's something we talk about with our dad a lot. It's about guiding what we do with our why. I think it's really interesting the fact that we grew up in this industry, this environment. To us, it's normal. It's just the way life is. That's what we know. It's franchising, and a really beautiful thing about franchising is that we help other people be entrepreneurs. We give them a platform to be business owners. We give them a platform to innovate. We give them a platform to become that best version of themselves. I think it's a really beautiful part of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I think for us it serves as a playground to build. I think we were both growing up obsessed with building things. I remember I was obsessed with blue tape because it let me just make something new out of two random objects. And that's what Churromania has been for us, is a playground for us to build and let our creativity shine.
Wow. What was it like growing up as kids, elementary school kids, and then middle school, and high school? I mean, surrounded by churros.
Yeah. That's funny because we'd come back home smelling like churros because we were at the stores
Really?
frying. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. No,
Smell doesn't leave you.
Yeah, the first car I ever had, I didn't realize that the smell was gonna wear off so much, into the car. So my friends would get in the car, I was like, "Bro, you have churros in the car? What's going on?" But it was just the smell from the day before.
Yeah.
No, but it was really awesome. We had that experience of almost kind of what my brother was saying, have that playground. We've been really lucky to have this playground we've seen from the inside how a business works, and we've been part of every single stage. We've been, like Ab was saying, frying churros, selling at the register, operating stores. So we've had that experience, and sometimes people think it's funny. It's like, oh, you're the churro guy. Well,
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I am the churro guy. But that's kind of been the excuse. We kind of use churros as an excuse to bring people happiness, to bring people nostalgia. And we do it through the lens of churros, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that nostalgia you were talking about when you think back to your time in Spain and thinking of the churros. For a lot of our customers nowadays, we were their nostalgia growing up in Venezuela, maybe coming to the United States. We're their nostalgia. We bring them back home, and we give them that taste of what it felt to be back home.
And they're immigrating, and we immigrated with them. Like they had to leave their country. We left our country with them, and now we're growing in the U.S. along with them. So there's a really good connection between
That's awesome.
us and
That's
them.
Ab?
That's I love it. I was going to ask you, and I think you started to answer it, right? Which is, it's a beloved brand, Churromania, with over 120 locations globally. And why do you think it's been so relevant? Is it that connection and nostalgia? And if so, talk about that and maybe some other reasons it's kept its relevance over the years.
Yeah. I was gonna say, actually. So we have Gen Z coming up. Internally in Churromania, we call this next generation Gen C for Churromania, and it's because we've grown up building this culture around the brand, and it's a culture we genuinely believe in, and it's catered and built with love, and so you're seeing this next generation of oftentimes immigrants coming from South America and coming to America and still having that taste of home, and we've leaned into that 100%. And the brand is growing in the sense that it's also still innovating, right? As much as you're still coming in and trying that same churro that you used to have, there's now new products and new variants of how you can try that churro. And so we're still growing along with these people that are also developing.
Well, when you talk about growth, you both belong to this generation that grew up with the internet,
Yes.
The social media and everything, name it.
Yeah.
It comes natural to you, not to your dad.
You'd be surprised.
He knows.
Oh, really?
He knows his stuff.
You know stuff? Is it because of you?
Definitely.
Or the other way around?
I think definitely
So
because of us.
how did you bring your own energy, your own know-how, your belonging to that, social media, digital marketing age, and then get it into the family in a natural way, and your dad buying into it?
Yeah.
What was the reaction initially, and then how did you sort of use that to fuel the growth of Churromania?
I think it's an important balance between what we do well already, that's already established, like not changing, I guess, the values and the foundation of the company, and then bringing in these new ideas, kind of like you're saying. I mean, actually, social media, my dad took that to, what's the word, a fish to water is what it said, or a bird to air. I don't know. There's one like that, where it was like it was like natural to him.
Oh, really?
He saw the impact. He's a big PR marketing guy, so he knows the impact that translating your vision and sharing that with people has. So he took it like a bird to water. But
And he's genuinely cares so much about sharing that vision, and like I said, growing with our customers. And so he was basically before us on social media.
Wow.
But we're bringing new technology in, and maybe we'll talk a bit more about what we're doing with Clave, for example. I mean, that was a problem that we saw stem within the company, right? And the beautiful thing about franchising, there's so many problems, and for entrepreneurs, that's a gold mine. I mean, you're basically franchising is like California in the 49, it's a gold mine just waiting to be tapped into. And so you have all these new resources, and every month new resources are coming out that you can implement. And so our parents for sure are giving us free roam to bring those resources and see how we can scale this business.
This is interesting that what you're saying about that in your day-to-day, you see opportunities to innovate, to create something.
100%.
So there are problems. Maybe they're not problems, but there are things that could be done better. There are things that are making us waste time or money. And the two of you thinking, okay, what solution is out there? Can we leverage technology to do this? Can you do that? And then you decided to go for Stuvie and Clave. Why? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I guess we'll start with Stuvie. Stuvie was completely unrelated to franchising. It's in the music world. For those of you that haven't heard about it, Stuvie is like an Airbnb for music studios. And we just sold that actually a couple of weeks ago.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. But yeah, we had so much fun, and still all of the learnings we applied there on how to implement technology into an industry that's still growing, but maybe at a slower rate than technology. So that we've been able to apply now to franchising, and Clave, our new business, is really doing that. And what Clave does for, again, those listening, we're basically, imagine us like an AI co-pilot for these operators. And we're grabbing all this raw data that franchise, especially QSR franchises that are getting, and we're amalgamating it and making actionable insights at store level for franchise operators, right? So these are things that they can do in real time based on data. And like you were saying, we realized there was a problem, right? One of the problems, one of the many, is that we were making a lot of decisions off of gut instinct. And obviously we have an amazing team that's been with us for decades now. And so these instincts are normally pretty right, pretty accurate. But a lot of times that might not be the case. We were looking to back our decisions on data, and we didn't know how. Wow. And now that technology has evolved so much, we said, well, let's see if we can solve this problem, right? We had our experience with Stuvie, and especially Babson has helped us change our perspective so much on how to build things into companies and being an entrepreneur as well. Huh. And that's kind of how Clave started. I don't know if you want to touch on that.
Yeah. Clave kind of started as an internal tool for Churromania, kind of like my brother was saying. Like we saw this problem ourselves working through the business, like we had said before, but then we said, maybe this is like an us problem. Maybe we're the ones that are doing this wrong somehow. But then we talked to franchisees outside of our system. We talked to franchisees of Dunkin' Donuts, Go Green in Ecuador, Bonchon in Tennessee, Wiener Schnitzel across the U.S., and they all said they were having the same kind of experience. They all said, yeah, I spend hours and hours on Excel downloading this data, trying to figure out what to do, and like, I'm not a data engineer. I'm not a data scientist. I'm not an analyst. I don't know what to do with this data. How do I get actions out of these numbers? Yeah. So we realized that this is something that we could help all QSR franchisees kind of figure out.
Wow.
So that's kind of what we're trying to do. Democratize data-backed insights, data-backed action.
But it's a business analytics, business
Definitely.
Intelligence.
Yeah,
100%.
Bringing it to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. Ab?
Yeah, I love it. I love your comments on just taking action, right? Mm-hmm. And working with the franchisees. Let me pivot a little bit to your father and the business, and you talked about how your parents are enabling and letting you kind of help take it to the next level with new technology and understanding the consumers. Can you share with our audience, what's the best advice your dad or your mother has given you about franchising or entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I think you had one from my dad. We talked about it the other day. He always says this.
Well, for my dad, I'll go with my mom.
Okay, yeah.
Just because I think maybe you have some more to share with my dad. Mm-hmm. But with my mom, I remember, and this has never left me, so it's always top of mind, kind of a two-parter. So first, if you're going to do something, finish it, right? If you're going to set out and do something, don't leave it, half done. And then the second thing, if you're going to do it right from the start. So do it right and do it well. And so that's something that we definitely bring into Churromania. If we have an idea, right? In this case, we have a problem. We know what the problem is, and we're going to start solving it. We're going to finish solving it. And we're going to finish solving it to the best of our ability.
Right.
Okay.
And especially in entrepreneurship, that's been huge. And I'm sure we'll get more into how that's impacted, and you'll see probably as a motif in everything we've done. But that's for sure something I've taken away.
Yeah. And I'd say for my dad, he always says this.
I love it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Tadeo.
Okay. No, he says a lot of like, what's the order? It's ready, shoot, aim.
Yeah.
Is what he says. Yeah. So usually, like when you ask someone, like, how are you going to shoot a gun? First you get ready, then you aim where you're going to shoot, and then you shoot. Mm-hmm. My dad says, ready, shoot, and then aim. So shoot, see what happens, take action. Most important part is shooting. Most important part is action. Yeah. And then once you see what happened, you take that information. Okay, what did I do well? What did I do wrong? Let me prepare for the next one, and then you keep doing that. It's about action, which is also kind of why we're building Clave, which is, you have all this analysis, but the most important part and what sets entrepreneurs apart, I think, is action, is actionability. So
okay, this whole idea. What you just said now. I hope you do it for a business, not when you have a gun, right?
No, definitely not for a gun.
You don't shoot. You don't shoot
at
your
idea.
Okay, the idea is right.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
super.
It's a metaphor. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is wonderful. And you're talking about some of this advice your dad gave you, your mom gave you.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they repeated it countless times.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I know.
But when did it start sinking? When did it start sinking in the two of you? And that hey, now what daddy was saying, now what mommy was saying. Because at the beginning in the US, like,
we're like,
whatever. Give me a déjame en paz. No, okay, give me a gun.
Sí, ya, suficiente.
Yeah.
100%. And first, I can write a book on everything I've learned from my dad, and another one on everything we've learned from my mom. Yeah. I think for sure it was something that I'm sure all entrepreneurs are going to face, is that you're never really going to take something to heart until you just fail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Until you experience it.
That's why Stuvie was an amazing experience for us, because everything my parents said, as much as we tried to internalize it, we failed countless times at doing that. We spent way too much time getting ready and aiming before shooting in Stuvie, or we spent too much time just like kind of doing things halfway, and realizing, wow, my parents were right, and look, this is the failure I have to kind of prove this as almost like a case study.
Wow. Just do it.
Exactly.
Do it and see what happens, and you learn.
And I was gonna say, like, someone could tell you to swim, you have to just put one hand in front of the other and then kick. and then you throw someone in the water, they're gonna drown.
Immersion.
You just have to you just have to get in the water and start trying to kick.
Awesome. Ab?
Yeah, that's great stuff and great advice. And you recognize the learning you've both had and the failure, which isn't bad, right? Too often we fear failure. Well, given the importance of franchisees, right, and that partnership, what have you learned about managing the innovation that comes from franchising, but also having the franchisees adhere to the brand standards and the passion and love that you all have for the brand?
Yeah,
talk about that for us, if you can.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a really interesting factor of franchising that we learned, I think, maybe later on in our experience as franchisors in the family business. It's that there's actually this great book by Greg Nathan. It's called The Franchisee Factor. We give it to every single one of our franchisees when they become a franchisee.
Oh, really?
And it talks about, there's a lot of good stuff in there, but one of the things it talks about is that the franchisor and the franchisee relationship is really important, that the franchisor is almost like a therapist, almost like a sounding board for the franchisee. The franchisors have to know how to manage the emotions. They have to know how to manage the experiences of the franchisee. Not every day is going to be good, not every day is going to be bad, but yet you have to manage that kind of relationship. And every single thing that the franchisor tells the franchisee to do, there's a reason behind it.
Okay.
It's not things that are made up. Us as franchisors, we have 30 years of experience doing this, running, this business, what the product is like, the reception, everything. So we know that aspect of things. And of course, the great thing about franchising is that the local franchisee knows the local market. So he knows how the local market is going to react, how the local market, moves. Say, for example, like the traffic at a mall, things like that. So it's balancing those things. For example, one of our best sellers at Churromania is the Crispy Mania. It's the classic churro with sugar. It's a straight churro. They come in 8, 14, 26, and 30, right? So that's been our best seller since day one because it's the classic churro. But most recently, our second best seller is a product called Churro Bites, which we didn't even have 5 years ago. This is a product actually a franchisee came up with.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a lot of balancing. It's a lot of balancing the what the franchisor knows how to do, but also encouraging that innovation from the franchisee, obviously within the frameworks of the franchise. So yeah, I think that's a really good story of like showing that innovation can come from within and from the franchisees. And a lot of the times the franchisees are the ones boots on the ground, so that they know like what the consumers, how they're reacting to everything. So it's a lot of give and take, I would say.
So let me say, Tadeo and Mateo, you just in you're almost 20, you're in the early 20s, and you've been dealing with people that are maybe could be your father or grandfather.
Yeah.
How is that like? How is that for you? Really talking to franchisees or their staff or their managers, and then if they say, this kid, these kids.
Yeah.
So how do you manage that? What has it been like for you? What has it been like?
It's definitely tough because sometimes they do see us as like, oh, these kids, or sometimes they're like, oh, they're the son's kid, or the owner's
children.
sons,
the
or
owner's
whatever. These kids. But I think what's helped a lot is that we actually know what we're talking about. That since we've been in the business this whole time, we're speaking their language.
I see.
Like, I'm not just saying things that are coming to me in the spot. Like, these are things that I've talked to with my parents, things that I've experienced as operating stores, things that I've experienced as a pseudo franchisee, I guess you could say. So speaking their language to them and knowing that I understand what they've gone through, what they are going through, and I think that's a really, valuable asset as a leader. It's going through the motions as part of a team, not just leading from the top. There's a great book that we've been reading called
Score Takes Care of Itself.
Score Takes Care of Itself by Bill Walsh. He was the coach of the San Francisco 49ers. And he talks about that in war, for example, soldiers don't kill for the general back at the Pentagon giving them orders. They kill for the soldiers that are fighting next to them on the battlefield. So as a leader, I think it's really valuable to have been in those positions and been in store level with them and know what they're going through. And I think that helps a lot for, I guess, earning the respect of the franchisee. Earning the respect.
I mean,
not expecting it, I guess.
You talked about how sometimes we could look at our franchisees as fathers or grandfathers. While you were saying that, I was really thinking, I look at them a lot more like cousins,
really?
often brothers. Yeah, I mean, we've worked sometimes frying churros in their stores. Not just the corporate stores, but in their stores.
In their stores?
Yeah, they saw my brother playing in the playground in front of, like in the mall, their stores. And they saw, us making the boxes where the churros go, me at 6 years old, folding them in their stores. And so they've seen us grow up with
You
the
grew up with
company.
the churros. You grew up
Exactly.
with this whole business model.
We grew up
Exactly.
with these franchisees. We are a family now, one big family, and so they do put a little bit of respect to our name because we've been with them throughout this whole journey.
Oh, wow. Ab?
And that points to what makes great franchisors, right? That have worked in the business and are thinking, and it's clear, Mateo and Tadeo, that it comes through that you have the interests of your franchisees at heart as well as the customers. So let's talk about growth, right? And we're all about scaling and growth at Babson and franchising as a way to do that. Tell us about the expansion and franchisee selection, right? To how to bring in more that fit the mold. And then after that, maybe a little bit about for a prospective franchisee of other brand, what they should consider when evaluating a partnership or a brand.
Yeah, I think when it comes to growth, we have a very specific approach at Churromania, which is, not taking on franchisees for the heck of growth, for the sake of growth, I guess you could say.
Right.
Because, we get a lot of interest. For example, I get a call from someone in, I don't know, Bentonville, Arkansas. And they tell me, I want to open a Churromania. I want to open a churro truck in Bentonville next to my kid's high school. So, if I really wanted to, okay, I could say, yeah, pay me the franchise fee, pay me the 8%, whatever you make, but they're not going to succeed.
Right.
So it's not in my best interest to let them become a franchisee because I'm going to have, that kind of dead weight in my franchise. And it's not in their best interest for me to let them because they're not going to succeed either. So we have a very specific profile of person that we look for. And when those franchisees come around, of course, we build a personal relationship with them. We get to know them really well. Of course, they have to have the the financial ability to open stores. And at the point that we're at now, we're looking at a lot of multi-units or development agreements where it's like somebody's going to come in and say, look, I have a few stores here in New York City, and I know I can open 5, and I know where they're going to do well. I know the spots. I have a system that I can plug Churromania into, and it's going to do really well. And that's kind of what we look for, I think I would say.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll add on to that really briefly. We also look up to Steve Jobs quite a bit, and one of the things he said when you're evaluating your team is this an A team player, a B, or a C team player? And so a C team player, if they tell you they're quitting, you say, that's all right, I'll find someone new. If a B team player quits, you say, wow, that's going to be a tough find, but I'm sure we can find someone to replace them. An A team player, you're almost like, this business really won't run without them. Right. And so we're looking only for A player franchisees. We don't need B franchisees. We don't need C franchisees. We're happy with 120 stores if we can't find an A franchisee,
Yeah, love it. Let me follow on real quick on that, if I may.
Yeah.
You talked about Bentonville, home of Walmart, right?
Yep.
And in our class, my class today, I know we talked a lot about, do you go multiple markets geographically at the same time? Do you stay contingent? What's your feeling on that, and your parents' feeling? Are you going to stay in the south, southeast near Florida? Have you gone beyond? And if you've already tried some things, what have you learned? Tell me about that growth strategy, guys.
Yeah, definitely. It's something we've been talking about recently a lot. What's our 5-year plan of growth? What's Churromania going to look like in 5-10 years? Once we're more, I guess, permanently in leadership roles, I guess.
Sure.
And one thing we talk about is kind of clusters. So we have a cluster in South Florida and Miami. We have a cluster in Orlando. We have a cluster in Dallas. We have a cluster in Houston. Because like I said, if we wanted to, we could go to Bentonville, Arkansas. We have people that want to open in Bentonville, Arkansas.
Y en Boston, ¿qué pasa?
Of course.
In Boston también.
We gotta get a clutter out.
We gotta get a cluster out in Boston. We just gotta find the right franchisee.
Vámonos.
Vinny, you gotta open.
Yeah.
¿Por qué no?
Let's talk.
Yeah.
¿Por qué no?
We'll talk after
Hablaremos.
No, I'll add on to that, and this is going back to the experience thing.
Yeah.
We've talked about this so many times, but talking is nowhere near practice, right? And so I'll just tie back to Stuvie, which is completely unrelated business, but just to see kind of how we're thinking is like, Stuvie, Airbnb for music studios, does not work if you have one studio in every state, right? You go on the app, let's say, and there's just one studio. Like, what are you gonna do if you're not in that city? It doesn't work. But if you open the app and you have 500 studios in one city, and maybe you're not in that city, you just say, oh, they're just not here yet, right? So that's how we're thinking about franchising too. Can we prove ourselves in one market extremely well? Okay, we've proven ourselves in South Florida. We can prove ourselves in some parts of Texas. Can we do the rest of Texas?
Right.
Can we prove ourselves on the East Coast?
Yeah. What are the variables that are kind of making us successful in this city, and where else can we be successful? What's a city?
Yeah.
How can we replicate that? Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we're not looking to be
Open one store in California, one in New York, one in Chicago. See what happens.
Although it looks pretty on a map to say we're in every state,
Right.
It wouldn't be an accurate representation of what we care about.
I see. You know what? I'm going to take you back to the relationship between you and your parents. Before, maybe many years ago, even up to some moment now, they say it, you just follow it.
Yeah.
Okay, te digo que sí.
Exacto.
If I say your dad, mommy says no, you have to say no.
You take it.
But I guess this has been changing over time, right? Because now they respect you, they see what you can do. You've been to Babson, you come back, you have your own ego now also, right? It's bigger than you also, maybe to some extent, right?
Yeah.
What is it like now when you go to get daddy and mommy to go this way, even though they are planning to go that way?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you manage that now? Because before, back then, it's okay. Hey, Tadeo, do this and that. I know. Don't tell me.
Yes.
Yeah. Si, senor. Si, papa.
Exactly.
Si, mama. But now it's not si, papa. Si, pero.
See, pero what about this?
So, exactly.
Yeah.
So how do you manage that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you can tell from us just talking about our experiences, we've failed enough times now where we have failures under our belt.
Okay.
Right? And we were actually talking about this earlier, where it's like, I think what entrepreneurs need to understand, and the reason we have to stop fearing failure is because imagine 100 people have to pick from 100 paths. Only one of them is correct. Yeah. Let's say you have one entrepreneur that's already crossed out 95 of these paths. He already failed going 95 of these paths. So his options are, there's one of these 5 are left that are correct. Everyone else who hasn't failed is picking between 1 and 100.
Ooh la la.
So growing up, we were picking between 1 and 100. It made sense for them to say, it's okay. We have 60 years or so of wisdom.
Yeah,
they
used to always bring that up. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm a wise person. I've been around for 60 years. You've been around for like 15.
Yeah.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
You can't even drive yet.
Yeah, you can't even drive it. But now we have a few years, we don't have the same 60 years as them, but we have a few more years of experience, and we're thankfully able to build also on their experience.
On their experience,
Yeah.
on their mistakes, on everything
Exactly.
they fought. So you don't have to repeat the same mistakes, right?
Those paths that they crossed off, we know to cross
we
them
know to
off our
cross them
sheet
off
as
too.
well.
Yeah.
Voila. Wow, mamma mia, this is qué lindo. Ab,
Well, you touched on, some advice, and I love how you're sharing your experience with your other startups as entrepreneurs. For young entrepreneurs listening, or aspiring entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, what do you wish more people knew about launching their first startup?
I think it'd be that. Change the word startup in every sentence to failure. Like, hey, I'm gonna launch my first failure. I'm gonna. Hey, how's it going with your failure? Because that's all you're gonna be doing for the next few months of your life.
Yeah, even if the big, the end isn't a failure,
Oh yeah.
you're gonna have a bunch along the way.
Yeah. I mean, we just sold our venture, and for us, that was a huge success and a huge relief of a moment that someone else found value in it.
Right.
But if we look back at the past 9 months or so that it was working on this, I couldn't tell you a single time we didn't fail, like a single day
Most of the
that we
times.
didn't look back on it as a failure.
Right.
And that's unbelievable. That's what made it so valuable.
Yeah, all these failures are learning experiences.
I love that mindset. Well, what did your experience at Babson's Summer Venture Program teach you about failure? Did that help you? Share with the audience a little bit about that program. And because I love what you talk about, I love that attitude and approach. And we should start change everything to failure. I love it. But tell the audience about that program and what it meant.
Oh, that program was awesome. We had the opportunity we applied to Summer Venture Program. There was a bunch of startups in the Babson community, which is like basically trying to pick, which diamond. Yeah, no, the other way. It's picking which diamond is the best. Like, it's a bunch of really good startups, So we had the opportunity to be at Summer Venture Program, and that was a great experience. We were sharing with other founders from the Babson community, but also the experience of the faculty here at Babson, just intensively working on Stuvie for 10 weeks at a time. Wow. And that, like every day we were talking about, okay, let's try this, expecting to fail.
You have to.
Yeah, expecting to fail, expecting what am I going to learn from doing this? It's I'm going to try this with this like hypothesis, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, did this prove the hypothesis? If not, why? What did I learn?
Yeah. That's something we picked up really early on. We hadn't really thought about it like that, but it's like everything you are going to do needs to have a hypothesis and be completely expecting it to be incorrect.
Right.
If not, you're not going to get through the next day because you're going to be crying about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, have a very clear hypothesis. This is what I want to get out of whatever I'm about to try, and then go and try it. And once you realize that didn't work, ask why.
That's why.
And keep doing that.
Wow. How is your relationship with the kids, with the children, of your franchisees?
That's interesting. Not a lot of them have kids,
I was
actually.
just thinking about when you said that. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I wish.
Can I even name one that has kids? Maybe in Venezuela.
Oh, definitely
Okay.
in Venezuela. Yeah.
Yeah, but in the U.S., I think most of them are like relatively young. I know one of
Okay.
our biggest franchisees, multi-unit franchisees, started with us when he was like 26.
Wow.
So he must have been like 1 or 2 years older than me. Had just immigrated to the U.S.
Huh.
Didn't have a lot of experience. Didn't have a lot of financial ability. But my dad saw something in him.
Okay.
He gave him that opportunity, and now he has like 6 stores. He continues to grow every day. He calls my dad, "When can I get another one? Where can I open a new Churromania?
Wow.
Where can we do this? When can we do that?"
That's what we were looking. My dad early on figured out how to identify those A players that we
The
were
A
talking
players.
about.
Yeah,
You know,
he's an A player.
He's got a sense for it. Yeah, and I mean, even now, 20 years later, growing with the same business, more than 20 years.
Wow.
He's still asking, when can I open the next one? Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
If you look back, this last 24 years, 19 for you, Mateo, lo siento.
Oh man.
What would you do differently, and why?
What would I do differently?
With my life, I mean,
Sometimes I have days where I say I wouldn't change anything.
Huh.
Because it's like everything I did taught me something.
oh yeah.
Was it good? I had a good experience. Was it bad? I learned from it.
Okay.
I would have definitely gotten a haircut sooner. For a while, I had a really weird haircut going on.
Yeah. That's actually a good
But
shout.
besides that, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm excited about where we are now and what's ahead and how much knowledge we have now that we can already start to apply. So,
Right.
So talking about that, if I could piggyback before I hand it over to Ab,
yeah.
you've done so much in less than a quarter of a century. You've done a lot. I'm wondering what will you be doing when you are 45, in another 25 years?
Oh, we'll see. Yeah.
Whoa.
Probably another venture somehow.
A couple of more.
Yeah, a couple more. I think. Yeah. I don't think. Never really think anything is end game. I feel like. Actually, no. I don't know how I feel about that because sometimes I feel like Churromania, I think, will outlast us.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
But then, for example, like I thought that about Stuvie maybe, but then we had the opportunity to have that exit, and we took that opportunity how it came. I think in 45 years, or when I'm 45, I don't know. I think we're still gonna be trying to create value, which is kind of what we strive for
Okay.
with Churromania, with what we strive for with Clave, what we strived
Okay.
for with Stuvie. That's what we like to do. We like to build,
Okay.
like my brother was saying in the beginning. So I'm sure. We'll see how the state of the
Okay.
world is in 45 years.
Okay.
'Cause in the last 5, we've had a lot of developments with AI, had a lot
see.
of almost existential crises.
Huh.
Oh yeah.
But I think we'll be fine.
Ab,
We'll revisit that every few years.
Yeah. I'll give you
If
every
we're
5
still
years an
hosting,
update
we
on
wanna
how I'm
hear
doing.
it.
okay.
Or you guys can host us.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Let me pivot a little bit to something that Vinny and I are really passionate about talking about with our guests. Is this intersection of franchising and social impact, right? And creating, as we teach at Babson and love, creating economic and social value. And clearly you both, and I've met your parents, and I think it comes from them as well. You care about more than just business, from Let All Girls to creating community. How do you stay grounded in purpose? And maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So you mentioned Let All Girls, and for those of you guys watching, so Let All Girls is a benefit corporation that I'm a part of. I'm the executive director. It started last year, actually with a student here at Babson who passed away, and I'm carrying on her legacy. And what we do is we build tailored educational technology for underdeveloped communities. I'm glad you bring that up. That's something that I'm super passionate about, as with everything that we do, and it's another opportunity to build. And in this case, to build something of tremendous impact, way beyond whatever numbers could show. But I think we carry that with everything. With Churromania, we've had social impact ventures as well. So we both grew up obviously loving music. And in Venezuela, my brother was a part of El Sistema, which is, if you want to talk a bit about that.
Yeah, El Sistema is basically like the system of symphonic orchestras in Venezuela for the youth.
Yeah.
And this is a system that was developed by a man called Maestro Abreu, about 60 years ago, where he would try to help underprivileged kids through music.
I see.
So he would create orchestras in different communities, and through music he would help them, find other people like them, find community, be safe in their community, learn things, and then, be more successful hopefully in the future. And when I was part of that system, that really impacted me, how powerful that was, how powerful music could be as a instrument, I guess you could say, for social transformation. And when we saw that impact in Venezuela, my parents actually started their own. They call it a núcleo. What is it called in English?
Nucleus.
A nucleus. Yeah. In a part of Venezuela that we were very familiar with. So we had our own kind of El Sistema plugged in. And when we moved to the US, with Churromania, we actually ended up even getting KFC as one of our partners, which is another funny story.
Really?
But
Wow.
when we moved to the US, we wanted to find something similar, and my brother ended up finding the Miami Music Project, which is a similar thing as El Sistema Venezuela, but in Miami, which is our local community now, helping underprivileged kids in Miami through music, become better citizens, better people. So it's intertwined in everything we do because we know the power of it. So
Bravo. Now, I'm going to ask you a question about the relationship between you, the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get along?
sometimes
Depends who you're asking.
No.
How do you really?
It's funny because I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like we grew up like having that brotherly clash
Fighting.
always.
Yeah.
We grew up with that, and then I think it always ties back to music for us. We started making music together.
Uh-huh.
My brother's classically trained in the piano, violin. You basically play every instrument, and I didn't know anything about music. I was more of the sports guy. I was into soccer, and I was like, I want to try the music stuff. And we started making music together. I was trying to learn from my brother, and from there, I think maybe I don't want to say he's my best friend in front of him, but something like that.
I'm gonna put that on a plaque, actually. Yeah.
So you collaborate. I mean, you talk to each other. When you disagree, you talk it through.
Absolutely,
you have to.
Yeah, you have to. And I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna end up living in the same house, eating at the same dinner table, waking up, having the same coffee. So
we still share a bathroom.
Yeah, we still share a bathroom back in Miami.
Wow.
Like up until 6 years ago, we were sleeping in the same room.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, really?
one bed on one side, one bed on the other. We were sleeping in the same room, going to the same bathroom, sharing the same closet. So it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, I can't hate him all the time. I can't hate him forever.
I tried. I tried doing that. Didn't work.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, wow.
Well, we got a new addition this year. This episode we're gonna try, fellas. We'll see if your friendship and love survives it. We're gonna do a little lightning round.
Oh God.
Are you up for that?
Yeah,
Maybe-
let's do it.
May I start this and then you can wrap up with the final question? How's that?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Okay. And you guys can decide who goes first. What's your guilty pleasure menu at Churromania?
I'm gonna go with the crispy sundae, and it's because I developed it when I was like 8.
That's true.
It's just a bunch of ice cream and churros mixed into a cup.
That's true. Do I have the answer now?
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Oh, I would say it's the churros with chocolate and dulce de leche, the Churromania chocolate, dulce de leche, and condensed milk. That's my favorite one.
Wow.
Dulce leche.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Describe each other in one word, business partners.
Say that again. We didn't hear you clearly.
Describe each other in one word as business partners.
I'll go like thought out. That's one word. Thought out.
Yeah, with a dash in the middle, so
with
it's
a
one word.
yeah.
Okay. I would say he's a doer, executor. Yeah.
Doer.
I think we balance ourselves really well. He thinks things through, and so
Yeah.
it always makes sense when he has an idea. And
So
then
you are the Nike. Just do it.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
he
just
just
do it.
does stuff. And sometimes I have to be like, yo, hold on. Let's bring it back a second. Let's think about this so that we can actually, do this well. But
Nice.
Well, that's
and then when
good.
I'm thinking too much about stuff, he's like, no, let's just do it and try
Is
what
it?
happens. So I think we balance each other out pretty well.
Wow, this is fabulous. This is great. I mean, so you are our youngest guest
No way.
since we launched this this podcast.
Yeah, we're big fans of the podcast.
yeah,
and
yeah.
then
We've listened to most episodes, if not all.
Oh, really? And then we're very grateful. And I want to maybe pose the last question that I have. You have people sitting in front of you, whether here at Babson or anywhere in the world, people your age. If you have to give them any a food for thoughts, what would that be? What would you say to them? Especially given what the world is going through now.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of challenges, lot of uncertainties. Just reading an article on LinkedIn earlier today talking about how the job market is really looking terrible, crazy,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people, there are 45% of those who graduated a year ago still don't have jobs, almost 50%. Wow. And with all of that going on, and more graduates are going to be coming into the market this coming in a few weeks' time.
Yeah.
So what would you say to those young kids, young folks out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fitting because we're on a franchise podcast, but I mean this wholeheartedly. This is the job. This can be the job market. You can make your own job in a franchise, and we've seen so many success stories within our own franchise of people growing something generational for their family and for themselves. And I'll kind of leave you guys with one quote. I think it was Henry Ford, and don't quote me verbatim. I'm terrible with memory, but he's saying something about how all you want to do is focus on making the most excellent version of, and he says product, but I'm just going to supplement that with X. So whatever it is you're doing, just making the best and the most excellent version of that. And the money will come as a result of it. It's almost like a consequence. When you focus your time in doing something well, the money is a consequence, and it does come. Wow. And so, especially for the job market, with a lot of uncertainty, that's always the question on the mind is is there money involved, this and that? And in the franchising world is such a beautiful place because it gives you the perfect opportunity to, if you focus on building something excellent, to have the money come as a consequence in a lot of beautiful ways.
You sure you're a sophomore here at Babson?
No, he's actually 65 years old.
Wow.
It's actually, I'm my dad right now.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, he takes off his mask. He's my dad.
Ha! Que sabio, que sabio. Well, sabio. Tadeo, te toca.
I would say, kind of piggybacking off of that, is if you find something you're really passionate about, and it almost sometimes it feels like if you don't do it, no one else is gonna do it. When you find that, it's like, wow, like you have this innate drive to do it that no matter what, you're gonna get it done, and no matter what, you're gonna end up being successful. Like we said, you're gonna have your failures along the way. But if you find something that you're passionate about, that you feel like if you don't do it, no one else is gonna do it, I think that's almost like a sweet spot for opportunity, I guess you could say.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, much gratitude from the whole Babson community, which your parents also belong to.
Oh, definitely.
And it's great talking with you. I learned a lot. I'm sure
Wow.
Ab took a lot out of this conversation, and I'm sure our audience out there are listening to this and going to be fired up. Say, hey, vamos a, tomar el mundo. No,
Sí,
let's go
vamos a comernos el mundo.
Vamos a comer el mundo. No,
Exactly.
let's go out there. We can make it happen.
Absolutely.
No, can make it. So, Ab, any parting words from you?
Oh, no, I was just going to say the same thing. And thank you guys so much. You represent Babson so well. You represent your family, your brand, your community. Love what you're doing. Inspired, right? And like I say in my class, let's go.
Let's go.
I'm excited. I'm pumped up.
No.
Vinny and I are going to put our heads together about the multi-unit deal we want to do together in Massachusetts.
Exactly. Así me gusta.
We don't expect any special treatment.
We don't say let's go.
But
We don't say let's go. We say
let's
vamos. Vámonos. Okay?
Vámonos.
Exactly. This is great.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
No,
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure.
Gracias.
Awesome. Hombre.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Stars of Franchising.
Stars of Franchising was produced at Babson College, engineered by Travis Gray. Karen Soa is our guest coordinator, and music by Ralph Taylor.
If you like Stars of Franchising, be sure to review us wherever you get your podcasts, and spread the word and share these stories any way you can.